Welcome back, everyone, to another Unpacked episode during this Men's Mental Health Month. On this special episode, we have two members of the Shenandoah track team, as well as the hidden opponent ambassadors here at Shenandoah University, Shane and Nathan. You two can talk about yourselves a little bit.
Nate, you want to go first?
Yeah, of course. Hi, I'm Nate. I'm the men's distance captain on the track team, as well as the vice president of THO.
And I'm Shane Lyons. I'm the male sports rep at the Hidden Opponent, and I'm also on the track team as a distance runner.
Okay. So, since with you two being on the hidden opponent, being ambassadors here at the university, can you two give just a background on THO and maybe other areas as well for those that may not be familiar.
Yeah, of course. With THO, we focus on athlete mental health, kind of advocating like if you're feeling a type of way, like you gotta speak up. Um, I joined the club when I was a freshman, and it was really small. But this year in particular, like we're really trying to build it up, kind of make it better on Shenandoah, as well as kind of get more people from the outside in who might not be athletes.
Okay. Like,
Yeah, and to add on, um, we do a lot of like community outreach. Like we'll go to like the club fairs and just try to add more people to the club because it is an important topic, not just in sports, but in mental health in general. But I feel like a lot of people don't realize that mental health is important in sports because it's just, especially as student athletes in college, it's just very difficult to handle. And to have this kind of community, it's really nice.
yeah, definitely. I like that what you said. I didn't even know that more outside people. You don't even have to be an athlete to join. Like I think that's definitely another way that the club is definitely going to be able to grow and hit more people. Shane, I know you're a freshman, and Nate, you spoke on it that you joined your freshman year. Maybe can you tap into why you may have joined or what compelled you to join?
Yeah, of course. So I joined my freshman year, um, partially because a guy on the team at the time was also part of the club, but also just you guys kind of coming in as a freshman. I was away from home for the first time, and so it was like I had a lot going on that like I wasn't really prepared for, and so like I was struggling a little academically. Like I wasn't like in the good headspace. I got injured. So I wasn't really racing or running. And so I kind of joined as a way to listen from other people and like how they went through stuff. I could kind of try and apply to myself, and so that I could help better my situation.
Okay.
I guess for me, so I'm a sophomore now.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
No, no, you're good, you're good, you're good. It's okay. So I joined towards the end of my freshman year, but I really got involved this year because Nate gave me a position to be the male sports rep. I thought that would be really cool to organize and go to certain sports games and kind of get that outreach um, during the sports games. And what made me join was I deal a lot mentally when I'm competing, more so when I'm competing, and it's just taking, away the personal like things that are going on in my life and kind of separating that from the track is what I'm trying to do, and it's really helping in this club because I can kind of, step away from track and kind of just focus on what I need to do in order to better myself as a student athlete.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel both of yours, both of what you said, like especially you, Nate, like this whole Shane, I know we spoke on it a little bit before of just how long I've been doing this. This is created because obviously I'm going through some injuries myself, and then when I started this, it was just understanding this was started in the summer. So just understanding that everybody goes through things, but as different as people may feel, like I'm a big fan of the Sonder idea, like you may go through an injury that you feel like nobody else can really compare to, but somebody else may be going through that same thing, and like you two can share your stories and almost help each other. Like I know a few of my teammates that got hurt this year, and like all of us being hurt together, but very different injuries, we were able to just face it together and be more positive outside of that. So I definitely like how both of you two relate to that as well. When you two were coming up and maybe in your first year, second year, or maybe outside of college and maybe in high school, where did you discover that it was important to analyze the stigma on mental health in athletes?
Um, Honestly, my freshman year of with college is when I really started kind of looking at it really kind of through high school. Like I struggled with stuff through high school, but like I didn't really have like a grasp on things, I guess. Like I was kind of like numb to a lot of stuff. I kept to myself a lot in high school. Like if I was going through something, like I just bottled it up. And then like just like being able to go home to my family every day, like, all right, like I can bottle everything up and then I'm in a comfortable space with my family. But when I came to college, like trying to bottle things up, but yeah, I have that, but without like the comfortable space.
Yeah.
And so everything just kind of was worse and worse and worse to the point where like, like the bottle was full and it's about to shatter. And so then like that's kind of when I started talking with um, the guy on the team. His name was Patrick. We started kind of having one-on-one conversations. I kind of learned to be more open with other people, talk about how I was feeling with other people, and then that kind of put me in a better and better situation.
I think for me, it was the summer before my senior year of high school. I had lost a family member, and that kind of really like messed me up for a couple of years. I couldn't really, figure out how to deal with it. And then I feel like this club really helped me kind of almost deal with it a little bit because, I mean, I met Nate through track, and he's probably one of my closest friends here, and he also helped me join this club, get a position, and just having someone to talk to is also a very important thing because you need that go-to person to talk about how you're feeling if you're going through a tough time, because if you don't, then it's just going to bottle up in your brain and you're not going to be able to figure out how to basically survive.
Yeah, I feel that both of you are just hitting a lot of topics. I had another conversation a few days ago, and I spoke on the topic like you said, and like eventually you bottle it up so much that at a certain point you can't contain it anymore. Like as far as much as you may do it, the time that it'll sneak up on you is the time you least expect. And then with Shane, like you say, having somebody else to talk to, like I would say I'm a person like people say you shouldn't go into isolation, but I'm a person that I feel like for me, isolation helped me get to a point of understanding where I needed to be able to have a conversation with somebody else.
Yeah. It
Like to,
definitely it definitely depends on the person. Like
yeah,
some people like that isolation, like figuring stuff out on their own. And other people are just dependent on having somebody there. And that's totally fine. Whatever works, works. You just got to figure it out.
definitely. That's like it's so many different ways for people to get through this. Like so many people think it's just like here's a list. This is what you need to do, and it's going to help you. Like no, everybody's going to be different. Like as much as everybody has different feelings towards this, and how they even realize like, hey, maybe I need to talk to somebody about this. So with you two bringing up, having a companionship, as you may say, a tight friendship, how do you, with you two playing track, you're playing an individualized sport. How do you manage like playing that, but also being in a team sport at the same time?
Yeah, of course. So I kind of the way I see it is because like everyone's always like, oh, like track is individual, and like to a point, I agree with that. Like, like I like specialize in the 800, so like I'm kind of like centered in that 800, while like Shane's in the steeple, so he's competing on a whole other different day than me. But it's kind of like we're all doing cross country together, and that's like a big team sport. And so like we have like that teamwork drive coming from like the summer when we start. And then like once we get in the track season, like like yeah, it's individual, but like all right, like if I don't have anyone cheering for me, like all right, I'll run like 2:10 or something. Like I'll run slow. Like if I got like Shane cheering for me, all the other guys, like that's gonna give me like confidence. That's gonna make me like get more locked in. And I think that's where like track really becomes more of a team sport than people realize because you can go out there and run all these times, but if like you got your boys behind you, you can run so much faster.
Definitely.
Yeah, and also like to add on, like not even from like, running fast and like, that's what's gonna make you happy. Like if you have people supporting you, that's what's gonna make you happy. Having that support system, your team, that's what's gonna like build a program. That's what's gonna like build that like family mentality that all sports really want. And I'm sure in soccer, like I'm a big soccer fan. I used to play in high school. That family like bond, it's unbreakable once you have it. So, when people are cheering you on, it's one of the greatest feelings like to have in track. And also like the individual versus like, team aspect. At the end of the day, yes, this is an individual sport. You're the one running, you're the one putting yourself through all these like tough challenges, tough practices, and you want to get better for yourself. But you also have to put that aside sometimes and realize that everybody else is going through the same thing and we got to get through it together. And we also got to have fun with it too, because, I'm sure Nate, as well as me, we're doing this because we love it and we're having fun. The minute it gets hard, we can't just, say, oh, this sucks. We still got to have fun with it.
Yeah, definitely. Like you both said, like the family aspect and like cheering on. Like for us, we have a big thing. Like on, I don't know. I've always questioned this since I got here. At a certain point, you don't question it anymore. But like every D3 soccer team, at least in the ODAC and who we played, all stand up. Like nobody sits in D3 soccer for some odd reason.
Yeah.
But for us, maybe at every program. But if you're standing up, you might as well cheer for those 11 on the field because especially when you get on the field, you're gonna want somebody to cheer from you for you. Like it's cool to hear your parents and maybe the crowd, but it feels better when the people that you're, hours long with running those sprints that you don't maybe want to practice with are cheering for you and pushing you further. Like we definitely over here on the soccer team, like that's a family aspect. Like everybody, you need to do that. Like so that's very strong. How you guys also have that at your meets and things like that. So my next thing with THO almost when you speak obviously sometimes as an athlete we may not perform at our highest level whether that be injury or you know just life in general some days you can't perform at your peak. Do you feel like slow progress to athletes cause issues like in their head they have to work so hard and if they're not hitting that milestone that stems into mental health?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like, especially with running, I feel it's like you find like a PR you want to hit. Like if you're like a 5K runner and you're like, all right, like I want to break 15 or like in the 800, like I want to break like 155. Like you set a goal, but like you like just like focus like I guess like way too hard on that time goal to the point where like you're like struggling to reach it. And so like every time you don't get it, like you tear yourself down. But it's like you kind of have to like focus on like other aspects and like the smaller stuff as well as that time goal because like you gotta figure out how to build yourself up because like I think it's Jameis Winston once said and you can say what you want about Jameis Winston but I just love this quote from him. He's like you gotta be your biggest competitor, not your biggest like enemy.
So
You gotta
true.
build yourself up, not tear yourself down over and over again.
I agree. James Winston, he's a fantastic motivational speaker.
I agree. Um, yeah, I definitely agree with what Nate said that, as like athletes for track, we're always definitely focused on that time goal because at the end of the day, that is what defines, if we're placing first or placing last. But I guess to add on to what the main question is, like goals can get in the way. I mean, to bring it to right now, I feel like this resonates very well with me. I wanted to run in the December meet that's coming up. I wanted to run in it so bad, and then boom, all of a sudden, I have a health issue come by my way and I have to shut everything down for like 3 months. So now I can't compete or do nothing for like 3 months, and that kills me in the head because all I want to do is run, but I can't while everybody else around me is getting better, and that puts a lot on you mentally. So, but with that, my body gets to rest and I really get to think about what my goals actually are. So there's a lot of negatives in what I've been thinking right now, but the positives is, I just got to take it day by day, let my body rest and heal. And when you go through something, that's what you got to do. Whether it's injury, whether it's mental, whether it's physically something, you just got to take it day by day and really think about what your goals are going to be and how you can accomplish that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like you said, I've learned my season ended very early. Like, so, on things that I like to say, we're honest here. Was it completely my fault? Maybe. Was it unlucky because the field was bad? Very likely. But we'll just leave it at that. But I remember having a conversation with my dad in the summer. He asked, we always went over goal setting, just in general, like just all my life, like what are your goals for this season? And I told him in this summer, like, I don't have any goals that I feel like I could write down and we could just come back and look. Like all my goals are things that almost can't be tracked, or at least can't be tracked in the right way. Like I could say I want to go score 5 goals, and we could pull up on the stat sheet if I scored 5 goals or not. But I was like the things that I wanted to do and feel like I could complete it this year were all new things. Like we had 17 freshmen on our team. Like being 3 seniors and 17 freshmen, the only thing that we really need to do now is just establish the culture that we basically got taught for the past 3 years down to 17 new kids. Like this is the smallest senior class we had, I believe. So it was just all those goals. And I've been telling them now, like, if you make your goals, yeah, you want to score 6 goals in a season, or, some other people want to score so many points in a season. Have some goals you feel like you can't track. Like, have some things you feel like are going to push you better, because ultimately you're going to see yourself growing in other ways outside of just viewing yourself as an athlete that has to perform strictly all the time. But that leads into one of my next things. Like, why do male athletes in particular, it's Men's Mental Health Month, feel so vulnerable in this idea? Like, is it the pressure to perform? Is it just the things that may have been taught as they were kids? Like, or do you guys have anything that you might think?
Yeah, so I think with men, men in particular, we we show up, we put the work in just like the girls do, but the we're seen as like if something's going on, like you gotta man up. Like you gotta deal with it. And sometimes I've been in this situation before where like a person on the women's team is going through something and they talk to coach gives them a solution, and then later down the line like me or somebody else on the men's side comes with that same thing, and the coach just kind of shuts them down. It's like we're like kind of as like men, like we're seeing like you gotta man up. Like you're not supposed to like you're not supposed to feel kind of like I guess weak in a way. Like if you're going through something, like you just gotta suck it up, get stronger, like just kind of push through it. And I think that can be really tough because people kind of see themselves as like, oh, like I can't be feeling this way because like I have to be seen as strong for everybody, or like, oh, like if I feel this way, like coach is gonna bench me. Like if I'm feeling this way and I go to talk to coach, like he's gonna bench me. Like I'm not gonna get this. I'm not gonna be on the starting roster, or I'm not gonna be racing this weekend. And I feel like that can also be tough. I think like sometimes like you just need someone to like kind of like talk to. And like I've had people to talk to. I've helped kind of talk to other people, after I was going through stuff. Like I was like, all right, like I've been gifted the ability to be helped by somebody else. Like I want to do good to others in return. And so like I've tried to do my best to help as many people as possible on my team who are going through something. Because like just because you're going through something now, like doesn't mean like you don't want to sit out. Like you can still put your best effort in, kind of zone in for that race or that match while still going through something before. Because I feel like, you know, I guess my philosophy and kind of what I've gone through, like if you're when you're sitting out, like it sucks. And like you want to like you're injured and like you just want to be out there so bad, or like you're going through something, coach takes you out, like you just want to be in that match so bad. You want to be with your guys, like doing the hardest you can ever do, like putting the work in, winning, competing. And so I think that, that's why it's important for us to talk to people, because like we're like we don't have to just be manly. We can feel these types of ways as well as, perform on the weekend as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Nate, you pretty much hit all the points that were to be made. But I guess something else to add is like I feel like males in particular, we're just like very like competitive. I mean, sports for males go back like hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of sports for like women, it's very new. And but for men, like we've been doing this since like, we were like babies, like since we were like 3 or 4, like we've been doing the same sports, same competition. And, it's hard to show that moment of weakness because we know everything we do is like a test. Like the moment we show weakness, other people are gonna see that and use it against you. So it's hard to like, express yourself mentally, because you don't want to show that weakness.
Yeah, I agree. That was very strong what you said. Like it's like in a game, like almost. I used to play basketball religiously, like before even soccer. Even soccer, I guess it carried over. But it's like the moment you see somebody, especially when you're on like a team like 11v11 or 5v5, like you see a person and they're like not holding up their end of the bargain, or they might be struggling, like just in the game in general. Like you're gonna pick out that weak person, and that's just natural. Like, and obviously once you kind of carry that into real life, like, okay, I don't want to be that person at all, like whether that be class, work, or whatever that is. So that was definitely strong what you said. Well, with you two being in the hidden opponent, what would be one phrase or maybe a couple of words or just something you may go by that you feel like could help others, with their mental health, maybe not as athletes, just in general, just to give them something to take away, and maybe to give them something that they can come up with themselves.
Yeah, of course. Like my favorite saying has been, don't do it to prove them wrong, do it to prove yourself right. Like I feel like if you kind of look at things with that perspective, like you're focusing on yourself, you're focusing on self growth. Like if you're focusing on making sure that everybody else has a wrong opinion of you, like in my opinion, you're just focusing more on other people. Like you got to focus on what you are, like deep down, like you got to figure out who you are so you can be the best that you are.
Okay, I like that.
I have a couple. I think the one I can think on the top of my head, it's kind of common, but it's okay to not be okay. Like we're all gonna have bad days. And you can't just put on a mask and pretend like you're great because you have to be able to express yourself and really express that emotion in order to get through it. That's what mental health is all about. And that's what the hidden opponent does really well because, even on your bad day, we can talk about it and we can help you out and then we can get better and have some fun and be this community and family that you need. Yeah.
Definitely, I definitely like both of yours. Well, thank you guys for taking the time to even be a part of this and continue to just help others and spread the love and support maybe somebody may need. Best of luck for the rest of your fall or your winter seasons as y'all run. Y'all season is very long, but
Yeah.
best of luck, of course.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
having
thank you
me
so
on.
much.
Thank you for taking the time.